Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our No Limits FAFSA night. We are so excited that you are here tonight. Please take a look at the chat. We have experts ready for any questions that you have. You can have one-on-one support. You name it. We have people from all over the place here. But first of all, I just want to thank, and I'm going to introduce them in a little bit. Our two presenters that are here with us tonight, which is Shedley Cassius from the Scholarship Plug and Paul Martin from the College Money Methods. And they are going to be the co-hosts for tonight. We are going to have so much fun. If at any time you get lost, let us know. If we're going too fast, put it in the chat. We will slow down. At the end of the day, we want all of your questions to get answered and for everyone to feel like they got out of here with all their questions answered, like I said, and that they are ready to receive their financial aid packet. It is not too late to get this done. You have until June 30th, but the faster that you do it, the more money that's going to be left on the table for you. So please, we want to make sure that everyone is filling this out. If by the time you lose us during this time, remember that you also can play this on demand as many times as you want. So please do not forget that. Like I said, your FAFSA facilitators are Shedley and Paul for tonight, and we are excited that you guys are here. And of course, I have to say that this College and Career Corner is something that happens every single Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. And, you know, all of our topics, like I said, are on demand, but we want to give you a little preview of what's happening in April. So in April, we have the ABCs of student loans, gap year, is it right for me, and college admissions. And like we said, any previous topics that you've missed in the past can be viewed on demand at browardschools.com/brace. And then today, of course, we have our big FAFSA night live for anybody. So if you know somebody who still needs to do their FAFSA, complete their FAFSA, let them know that we're doing this. You know, we have to thank all of the volunteers that come on every single time that we ask people to help us with these big FAFSA events. There's at least 40 volunteers in the back end that you guys don't even know about. But we want to thank the participating school districts here with us, which is Palm Beach, Broward County, and of course, Osceola. And we're sticking with this year's theme, which is no limits, because there is no limits for your post-secondary success. Who are our FAFSA specialists? Who is in the background when you're asking all these questions? Who's here? We got Florida Atlantic University. We have Broward College, Palm Beach State College. We have our very own ESOL department. If you need any help in Creole or Spanish, we got people that can help you. University of Central Florida. And of course, our amazing Brace advisors who are our experts, all here to answer your questions. And from our local college access network, we have Broward Bridge to Life here, and they're giving away a $10 gift certificate for anybody that can say, give proof that they completed their FAFSA. I mean, you guys are about to go on spring break. $10 for gas money wouldn't hurt, right? So go ahead and submit your completed application. It's right there in that little link, and we'll put the link on the Q&A so you could just click it and go ahead and complete that, and you can get a $10 I completed my FAFSA giveaway. And we want to just make sure that you feel welcome. And right now we are going to say the welcome in Spanish. So Anna, take it away.
Bienvenido a FAFSA Night. Estamos muy contentos de tenerlos aquí con nosotros. Tenemos apoyo para aquellas familias que hablan español y criol, aquí esperando para responder sus preguntas. Puedes escribir tus preguntas en el chat, en español y en criol, y te responderemos de inmediato. El objeto de hoy es seguir al facilitador y completar su FAFSA. La solicitud es para determinar la cantidad de ayuda para la que es elegible y nos complace ayudarlo a completar su solicitud esta noche. Y recuerde usar el chat. Si aún necesita ayuda, lo mandaremos a otro enlace de reunión virtual para obtener ayuda adicional. Gracias por estar con nosotros. Sabemos cuánto le importa su educación. Hagámoslo.
Gracias. Y ahora, now we are going to have Adnan welcome you guys in Creole. Adnan, are you with us?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
All right, we hear you. Let's welcome everybody in Creole.
Nous disons tout le monde bonsoir et bienvenue sur session FAFSA. Nous sommes très contents pour nous gagner ici là avec nous. Nous avons un support pour famille qui parle espagnol avec créole pour nous répondre à toutes questions gain et ou ka taper question yo dans chat là et en créole, en espagnol ou bien en portugais et puis nous répondre tout de suite. Objectif là c'est pour nous suivre avec facilitateur et remplir FAFSA. Application ça détermine combien d'aide ou qualifié pour lui. Nous comptons aider et remplir l'application à soi. Songez bien utiliser chat là si toujours besoin d'aide nous allons diriger dans l'autre lien réunion virtuelle yo ka recevoir aide en plus. Merci pour entrer au sous site ça et nous connaissons qui quantité ou prend soin éducation et n'a rejoindre tout de suite.
Merci. Thank you all. We are super excited to be here. And now I'm going to pass it over and introduce your amazing host facilitators for tonight. We have in the house Miss Shedley Cassius. I'm sending you live, Miss Shedley. Take yourself off of there we go. Let me see. I'm going to send you live. Can you say hi to the people, please?
Can I say hi to the people? I would love to say hi to the people. Hello, people. Man, I am so blessed to be here. I am so happy that you're here. We're going to get some money today. We're going to find out how much money you are eligible for. Happy to be here. Let's get this FAFSA done.
Amazing. I love the enthusiasm of today's presenters. And now we are going to present the one and only Paul Martin. Paul, hold on a second. Let me get you on. I don't see. Oh, here we go. Here's Paul. And I'm about to send you live, Paul.
All right. Well, listen, I'm here to help as many Broward students get the financial aid they deserve. Because I know for myself, first-generation college student down from Dade County, it was because of financial aid that I was able to achieve my college dream, and I want every one of you to do the same. So let's get started. Let's get this FAFSA done. Shedley and I are here to answer every question you have and make sure you get the money that you need to achieve that college dream.
Thank you, Paul. So as you can see, we have two very animated experts that are going to walk you through the process of financial aid. Now, at any time, if we're going too fast, you make sure you put it in the chat. We'll slow down. We want to celebrate every part of this process over to you guys. So, Shedley, I'm going to go ahead and talk about, you can talk about these slides about what is financial aid versus FAFSA.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so let's really break down this financial aid, this FAFSA. What are we doing here? What is it that we're about to do? The FAFSA, there's a difference between the FAFSA and financial aid, okay? Because it's impossible to not qualify for something. The FAFSA is what we're doing today. It's the application. It's free. It's an application to determine how much aid you are eligible for, okay? Financial aid, however, is just that. Do not get it confused. One is an application to get you the money that's being provided by the federal, state, or local institution. That's what financial aid is. But tonight, the last night, we are going to complete the FAFSA. There are different sources, right, Paul? Paul, where are you? I need my co-partner here. All right, let's talk to them about the different sources of financial aid. Let's be very clear about this. The application, right, Paul?
Yeah, so you got it. So this is going to get you these sources of financial aid right here. So of course, we love the top of this circle. That's the free money. We're talking about scholarships from universities or outside sources, or grants. And that could be a Pell Grant from the federal government, right? It could be other sources of free money from your institution. But yes, FAFSA will be required for you to qualify. And there's money on the other side of this application. Money to come into your pocket to afford your college dream. That's important. Now, and also for students who might need to think about borrowing a little bit to cover that a little bit of extra expense, FAFSA will unlock federal student loans, which are really great in terms of the interest rate and the repayment terms, as well as work study. What is work study? These are jobs on campus that allow you to gain work experience, pad your resume, look great to employers while you're earning money to pay for college. All of these things are available, but it requires the FAFSA, which we're going to get done tonight.
And Paul, you said something very key just now. You said the key to the key, because what we're doing today is applying for a key to unlock all of these sources of aid. Why? Why? Always have and know your why. Because there's a cost to attending all these institutions. Whatever your plan is, there's a cost. There's a cost to tuition. We want the money to pay for that. There's a cost for fees, books, supplies. There's applications to get you the money to pay for that. Personal expenses, transportation. Do you know that when you go to college, there's a health component to it? There's insurance attached to it, room and board. Whether you're going away or staying at home, someone is covering your cost. But we want to unlock that for you tonight. Right, Paul? We're going to do that tonight. So let's talk about the common challenges, and we're going to go through these really quick because we want to get to that FAFSA. Okay? So, common challenges. Your FAFSA. When we're going through the applications, there may be hiccups. You may not be able to go to the next screen. You may not be able to submit. You may not be able to link to a data retrieval, but we want to let you know that you can overcome it. Just be patient. The FSA ID. Now, entering information on the FAFSA that does not match after you or your parent have created the FSA ID will delay the process, okay? Not understanding parent information, that may cause a challenge, but it's common, it's okay. This is not the end all be all. We can always overcome it, right, Paul? Any other challenges?
Those are the most common ones, and what's important is that, again, you know that no matter what you might be facing, you have resources here at Broward, at your local school, that are going to help you through it. We're going to do as best a job we can tonight to make sure that we address as much of those challenges that you might have.
Yes. Okay. So, and please remember, just keep in mind, there is a chat question and answer feature to your right, to your left, depending on how you're looking at the screen. Use it. We have experts from everywhere here to help you. So don't be afraid to use the chat. We don't even look at the misspellings. Just use the chat and ask every question that you may have. All right. So what we need to do first, we need you to gather your FSA ID. Now, if you forget your FSA ID username, passwords, this is a common challenge that we have. Us Brace advisors know. Sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. But while we're speaking here, if you don't have your FSA ID with you, grab that, okay? Grab that because we're gonna need that. Common challenges include not having the FSA ID, username, password, but this can be overcome. We will help you with that. We have an FSA ID room for you to get help.
Yes, absolutely. All right. And the other thing is, you could try your email that you created your FSA ID with as an alternate to the FSA ID. So the next step is try the email, and if that doesn't work, then of course will help you retrieve that FSA ID.
Absolutely. Don't forget, this is big. If you are a first time in college student, not if, you are a first time in college student, there's going to be a question on the application. Don't pick any other answer. You're a first time in college student, okay? But we'll address that when we get to that question. All right, so it's time. It's about that time. Let's get started.
The money. Let's get it.
Let's get this money. Let's get it started. We have a lot. I mean, we're going to get this done within 45 minutes. Let's get this done right now. Gather your FSA IDs, username, passwords, taxes. If you have 2019, that's fine. If you have 2020, that's fine. Whatever tax year you have, let's get that in front of you right now. So we're going to go ahead and go to the FAFSA website. All right. So this is it. Let's get to the site. Right. Paul, if you want to go back one slide for me.
Yes.
One slide. All right, right here. This is the site we're looking at. We're not looking at any other site. Any other site may be a scam. Anything that has .gov is related to the government. Okay, rule of thumb, .gov is a government site. We are seeking federal funds to fund your education. Okay, that's what we're doing. So we're going to go to this page. And as a matter of fact, we're going to go take it to that page with you. So Paul, if you could go to that page, we're going to go head on to the FAFSA page, and we're going to walk through this with you step by step. So gather your documents, get on that FAFSA page. Go ahead and log in as a new user. If you've already been to the website, you can go ahead and select returning user, no problem, as long as you're in so that we can navigate through the application for you. That's all that matters. Okay, so we're gonna wait. For those of you who do not have your taxes, please grab them, okay? If you don't have them in your home, if you don't have them within reach, that's okay too. That's okay. That's okay. We're going to make it work. We're going to make it work. Yes.
Ms. Shedley, I think there's some questions just originally about if they're going to go to college in the fall, right, which is where most students are going to go. Can you tell us what taxes we need? Because it's prior. So I think some of you guys are being, saying, oh, I didn't do my taxes yet. That's all right, because you don't need 2020 taxes. So If you want to talk a little bit about that so they're ready for the right taxes that they need.
Okay, no problem. So this is what I'm saying for this. If you're starting school this year, August, which is fall, right? You're going to need 2 years from this year. So we're in 2022, so we're going 2 years prior. So 2020 are the taxes that you need. Okay.
Right. What I was about the 2021, we know parents are stressed out to get those done now, but that is not the tax year we use. We go back 2 years, so 2020 should be filed. That's what we want to grab.
Grab those. And what if they don't have those? That's okay. Grab whatever tax year you have, so that either way, we're going to go through the data retrieval. Don't stress out about it, but the right year for right now, we need 2020.
All right.
Hopefully I wasn't confusing. Did I confuse you? If I confuse you, put it in the chat. We want to know. We want to see activity in that chat.
All right. So we always say prior. So you're going to go to school 2022. So prior, not 2021, but 2019. I'm sorry, 2020. 2020. Now I'm getting confused. 2020.
2020.
Got it.
Okay.
All right, we ready to get in this website and
Let's get it done. Let's get it done.
Go.
Okay. All right, so you should be at this page. So once you went to the FAFSA website, you entered your information, you entered your FSA ID. It's asking you, tell us about yourself. You are the student. Let's go and hit the student. If you are the parent completing this application, go ahead and select that. All right, so right here, we're going to go into login to continue. Enter your FSA ID.
Password.
We even have a sample student for you. Okay, we're doing this with you.
We're doing it for Miss Helen.
Miss Helen, let's take her through this application. Any questions, please use the chat. Here, they want to make sure that you understand that this is a federal site. So you are accepting all of the terms that the site is asking, and you are who you say you are. You're going to click accept, takes you to the application. Helen, we are on a roll. Let's go ahead and click on 2022, 2023 with 2020 taxes and continue. Here we're in a world of passwords. Write this down. This is a save key. This allows you to go in and out of the application. Okay, so we want to create maybe a 4-digit number, any word that you're going to remember to allow you to get in and out of the application.
But I agree, write it down.
Write it down. Write it down. All right, go ahead and click next. Make sure it matches. Here, it's just an introduction, an overview to all the different sections of the FAFSA, okay? But we're gonna go ahead and skip over this and continue because we're gonna walk you through the sections. You are in the right place at the right time. Now, this, as you can see at the top of the screen, you'll see the banners, and we're gonna go take you through section 1 through 7. But here, they're asking for student information. Parents, if you are filling this out on behalf of your student, please make sure you're looking at the top left where it says student. So you're entering your student's information. One of the challenges that we do see oftentimes is that when parents are filling out the application, they are putting their information and it rejects the whole application. So this is student information. Go ahead and put your social security number, your first name, middle initial, if you have one, last name, and your date of birth. If you don't have your social and you have the taxes in front of you, the information is actually on the tax return.
Yeah, one thing to note about this screen that they've changed a little bit is the social security number is locked because it follows from your FSA ID. So if there's something wrong with the social security number, you have to go back and solve that problem at the FSA ID level.
That's true.
Yeah, but you can change this other information. You want to confirm that that's correct. So Helen, looks like we got the right date of birth here. So we're gonna go ahead and hit continue.
Continue. That's right. So it's populating from your Florida from your FSA ID. That's correct. All right. So here you should have the correct email that you use to enter your FSA ID. You're going to enter your phone number. Hit continue. If we're going too fast, please let us know. All you have to do is put an SL in the chat, slow, or SD, slow down, slow down, slow down. No problem. We're right here with you.
Yep.
Okay, here should be the address. Make sure everything is correct. Okay, now they want to make sure that they want to confirm your residency eligibility. They're going to ask, this is for Maryland. If you're in Florida, we're going to say Florida for at least 5 years. If yes, go ahead and select yes. If no, it's going to revert to another. If let's go, yes. So it's going to ask you, what is your state of legal residence? Then it's going to ask you, when did you actually become a resident of Florida?
That's right. That's right. But we're going to choose yes because.
Yes, we're going to choose yes for this example.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the residency relating to citizenship. So the selections, the options that you have are U.S. citizen, okay, eligible non-citizen. Go ahead and click on that drop down for me, Paul.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. You can't see that drop down, everyone?
No.
Oh. There is a drop down.
In this section, so go ahead and select whatever is the best, whatever best applies to you.
Yeah. And it's important to note every one of these questions now has a question mark next to it. If you click on that, can you all see my pop-up? Maybe.
Yes.
Okay, great. This helps you understand how to better answer this question. And in particular, this question of citizenship can be an important one for some of our students down here. Because what's really important to remember as a student, if you're filling this out as a student, is what matters is that the student is a U.S. citizenship or eligible. Your parents don't have to have citizenship in the U.S. for you to qualify for financial aid from the U.S. government. So that's going to be important. So if you're living here with relatives, let's say, and your parents are still back in Dominican Republic or in Haiti or whatever, this applies to you. There's money the government wants to give you regardless of the status of your parents. So remember that when you choose U.S. citizen, that is asking about the student. And in fact, as a U.S. citizen or eligible, as has mentioned, or eligible non-citizen, you will have to put your alien registration number, which a lot of students have as a green card. But either of those options absolutely entitles you to all the money that you may need for your college dream. All right, so I answered this question, so time to move forward.
Let's go, let's go. Let's keep it moving. All right, so here they're asking about your education. All right, let's see. So high school, what will your high school completion status be?
There are a couple options here.
Couple options that you don't want to have incorrect. So high school diploma, homeschooled, or GED.
Equivalent, absolutely.
Okay, so go ahead.
No, I said we're going to choose high school diploma.
Okay, high school diploma. Next question. What college degree or certificate will you be working on when you begin 2022, 2023? And if you are going to a four-year university, you'll select first bachelor's degree. If you're planning on pursuing an associate's degree, you would select the associate's degree, either occupational or technical, or the transfer general program.
There's also the non-degree program potentially for some students here. So there are different options. I apologize, you guys can't see my drop down, so I'm trying to show you the options that pop up when I choose them. So I hope you
please.
That. All right.
Great, so great. Thank you, Paul.
Bachelor's in this case, right?
Let's go with bachelor's.
And will you have a first bachelor's degree before the fall? No, absolutely not. If you're getting your first bachelor's, this will automatically populate to no. Now, I think this is the big question that we were talking about, which is I know oftentimes people are confused because they said, well, you know what? I've been in dual enrollment. I've been working hard to get college credit. So why would I say I've never attended college before? But the FAFSA rules are very clear.
Right.
If you are a senior in high school and graduating, regardless of how many credits you can bring into that first year experience at college, you are considered a first year student and having never attended college.
Right.
And you want to recognize those achievements. It's just this will qualify you for the most financial aid. So we want to get the most money.
Right. And Paul, you know what I tell students in this case?
What's that?
Well, this is your first year actually getting financial aid. Okay. In those terms, first year obtaining financial aid, dual enrollment, the school district pays for that, or, it's not paid through federal funds. So this is your first year. So keep that in mind as far as when you're selecting the year, because you'll be doing the FAFSA every year to cover the upcoming year. Next question is, if you have any questions, we're going too fast, confused on a question, please use the chat. We are here to help. Okay, so here, work study. Are you interested in being considered for work study? This is where you can earn a salary. You can work at the college that you're attending. Always say yes. Always say yes. It's not until you actually apply to the job that you receive the actual work study funds that you can decide, if yes or no. But at this point, when we're applying, always say yes. Do you agree, Paul?
I agree, because like I said, and I tell students all the time, this is way to get even more experience. You're going to come out ahead of your college peers because you have stuff on your resume. You can get great opportunities. Maybe you want to work in the counseling department in college. Maybe you want to work in the finance department. You're a business major, get that work study job and start getting that experience so that your employers see that you're able to both do amazing in college and at the same time be able to be a reliable professional in college life. So
I actually had a work study job.
Me too.
Okay. Come on now.
All right. Here we go.
Let's say yes.
Me three. I think a lot of us, I'll just talk a little bit about this real quick because it can kind of slow down. I know some people are going in the chat and slowing down, but like the presenter said, this is a great opportunity to have work study, and think about the relationships that you build when you're in doing a job in the college. Think about also, you know, your networking. I remember being a part of a work study program at my university, and having a little bit less financial aid going into my sophomore year in college. And because of the relationship that I built in my work study department, which was actually nonetheless the career department, they ended up giving me a scholarship because they loved me so much and the work that I was doing to cover some of my expenses of my sophomore year. So again, always take advantage of those opportunities.
Always, always. That's awesome. And I did a work study position in the financial aid office at my school. So, and then fast forward, I'm here helping you guys with your FAFSA. Okay. You never know. You never know.
All right. Moving on.
Moving on. We could talk about it all day. Okay, Paul. Selective service. This is always a question with a question.
Now, if this case, if you are identified as male and you're filling this application out, it will ask you if you're registered or not. But the great news is with some FAFSA reform, if you are registered or if you're not registered, it doesn't matter anymore. You can say, I'm not registered, I'm not interested in registering. It does not impact your financial aid eligibility. So know that even though these questions are still showing up, the requirement to register for selective service is gone. So you can choose to register. But in this case, we're Helen, so we've never had that option as a female. So moving on to the next.
Change is coming. Change is coming. Okay, so here they're asking for your driver's license. If you don't have one, this is an optional question. You can actually skip this question. If you want to include it, that's up to you. But this does not affect your financial aid. Okay, next question. We're moving along. Student foster care and parent education completion. So, are you a foster youth or were you in the foster care system at any time? If yes, click yes. If no, select no. Here's the question that is very important, okay? This is related to first generation funds. First generation funds, first generation scholarship funds. What is the highest school completed by parent one? If your parents did not complete a bachelor's program or did not complete their college education, please select the appropriate option. You have high school, you have college or beyond, and then we have other or unknown. If you truly don't know and have no idea, especially if you're in a single parent home, not much information on parent two, don't be afraid to say other or unknown.
Absolutely.
Okay? Very important to complete. Moving on, we are now on section 2. We are moving right along. Almost done, guys. Almost halfway done. Okay, so let's go. We're going to add your high school. Which high school are we going to go with? You're going to select
MacArthur High School. MacArthur High School.
Of course you would. Of course you would. Of course you would pick MacArthur.
I know. But I want to make a quick announcement while we're putting MacArthur High School on here, is that remember that this presentation is being recorded like we have done all of our FAFSA presentations, and we have them in Creole and Spanish available on demand, just like this one will be available on demand at www.browardschools.com/FAFSA, along with all kinds of resources, along with the pre-video. So you name it, we have it on there. So don't think that we're leaving you behind. If we're going a little fast or if you can't keep up, we got you.
We got you, definitely. Make use of that chat, guys. We are paying attention. We are looking at every entry, every question. Okay, so after you've selected your school, you're going to go ahead and continue. Make sure you have the right school. I know some of you have are a part of maybe another type or charter school or public school or whatever. Make sure it's the right school. Some schools have two different names, such as Northeast High School has a high school here and in Osceola. So we want to make sure you're picking the right high school. On to the college search. Here is where we enter the colleges in which you want your financial aid report to be sent. Okay, so here, let's start with the first school. Or, I mean, Paul, they can enter up to 10, right?
Yes, you have 10 schools that you can send the FAFSA application to be considered for financial aid. And in the case that we have some real ambitious students who want to go beyond 10, you're able to add additional schools after your first 10 schools have confirmed they've downloaded and received your FAFSA. So don't stress out if you're thinking about more than 10 options. You're not only limited to applying to 10 schools. For financial aid, you can apply to as many as you need to make sure you get the money. Exactly. But the way we do that is we have to enter the state of the school we're considering, and then we can search by city or school name. I'm going to choose Florida Atlantic. Let's go to the main campus in Boca. Okay. So we're going to city because we know Florida Atlantic has more than a couple campuses now. So once I enter that information, actually still brings up all the possible campuses. Mm-hmm. So we're going to choose the main campus. That's where our first preference is to go. So we click on that. And when we hit continue, we can't forget that they need to know how to package our financial aid. So will we be living on campus? Is it time to leave home, have a new adventure, or maybe we stay at home our first year with our parent? And then, of course, there are options for students who choose to live off campus with other students or roommates. So here I'm going to choose on campus. And then if we have another school, we just click on add another school, and we do this as many times, up to 10, to make sure that every school gets our financial aid application.
Yes, perfect. And now while you're adding your schools, Paul, is there a wrong way to add a college? Like, is there a wrong answer with on campus, off campus, or living with parent? What if you change your mind?
That's a great question. So I often get that question, and I encourage students. Now, of course, if you're going to Broward College, there's not an on-campus option. But if you're going to a college that has on-campus option, I tell students to default to that, because when they package your financial aid for on-campus, they're going to include potentially aid to pay for dorms, to pay for meal plans. So why not try to get that first? Right. And then you could go back to college and say, hey, I have changed my mind, and they will make the appropriate adjustments there. So that was a great question. And I always think, hey, why not go on campus if you have the option, and you could always change your mind later.
Exactly. Guys, just so you are clear about the process, we are completing the FAFSA, which is just for those of you who are just joining us. We are in the middle of applying for this application called the FAFSA. It's a free application for federal student aid. These colleges that we are adding will be receiving this report to later assess how much money that the school can offer you, including federal aid, state aid, and institutional aid. That's how important this application is tonight. And we will complete tonight. All right, so how many schools are we adding for tonight?
I'm going to a private option that I heard and I've gotten excited about, or Helen is, University of Tampa, up in Tampa, getting a little further from the nest. So
let's go. Let's go.
On campus.
I'm all for that.
Yes. So I think I'm good with these 3 colleges. So let's hit continue.
Okay. So let's get some feedback from the audience. Are we good? Are we going on? Are we at a good pace for you? Do we need to slow down? Are we doing well? How are you feeling out there? We want to know. We want to know how you're doing, if you're on track with us.
So far, so good. I mean, we've answered a lot of questions.
Okay.
Like I said, we have, some experts in the background. They are using their Twitter fingers and answering everything.
Nice.
So far, we are doing pretty good. Nobody's telling us to slow down right now.
Perfect, perfect. All right. So, all right, here is where we get to the dependency status. Okay. Either you are dependent or independent. Dependent or independent. This question is asking for your marital status, not your parents. Student, are you single? Are you married? Are you divorced? Or even separated is another question.
Yeah, there is a
Okay?
separated option.
More than likely, you are single, okay? It's so funny when we get the report and I see a student that says married, that's not married, and I said, oh, so you're married? No, that was a mistake. Make sure you understand that this is a student page, okay? Now it's asking for your dependents. If you are the student and you have children, okay, do you have dependents? Yes. How many? If one, select one. If none, select 0. If you do not have students.
No. If none, it's the answer is no. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Other dependents. Now, and it's weird because this year I've had a few students that have dependents that they take care of. Not that they're their children. So do you have dependents other than your children or spouse who live with you and who receive more than half of their support from you from now through June of next year? Okay, so for example, if you have a little cousin or if you have a family member that happen to be staying with you, you're working and you're taking care of them, this may be a question for you. But if this doesn't apply, you don't take care of anyone. As a matter of fact, your parents are taking care of you. You're going to say no right here. Okay, so no, and let's continue. Now, pay close attention. This is more other dependency questions that you want to pay close attention to. So answer the following questions to determine if you are required to provide information about your parents on your FAFSA. Are you currently serving on active duty? Yes, no. Are you a veteran? At any time since you turned 13, were both your parents deceased? Were you in foster care? Or were you a dependent or ward of the court? As determined by the court in your state, are you or were you an emancipated minor? Does someone other than your parent or step-parent, this is a big one.
Yes.
Okay, this is a big one. That's why I'm slowing down on purpose. Does someone other than your parent or step-parent have legal guardianship of you as determined by a court in your state of legal in Florida or in your state? If yes, click this. If none of what I said is related or even familiar to you, you're going to click none. Okay?
Yep.
What's going to happen if anyone selected any of these questions? It's going to revert you to an independent student. If that's the case, we need you to say that in the chat or address it in the chat, and we're going to have you speak with somebody so that you can have more help, because it's going to take you to a different screen, right, Paul?
That's right. Yeah, and I think it's good that you pause at that last question, because I know that we have a lot of students in Florida who may not be living with their parents, right? That they're getting support from a relative or a friend. However, that does not mean you could check this question, because that relative or friend will have had to go through a court process to get legal guardianship of you. Mm-hmm. You can't just keep living outside of your parents' home and qualify as an independent student. What we were talking about earlier, we have a lot of students whose parents are in their home country, and you might be living with an aunt or a grandparent. If that aunt or grandparent hasn't gone through the legal process of getting full guardianship of you, you are still considered a dependent of your parents in their home country, even though you can qualify for financial aid here because you're a U.S. citizen, and you will have to report some information on your parents. And there's a whole process for that. We have great support at Broward, Osceola, and Miami-Dade, and how you would convert their earnings into U.S. dollars to report onto FAFSA.
Correct.
All right.
Continue. Moving right along. We're doing good. We're doing good. Okay. Here's another important question. Okay. Especially for Broward students who are under the HEART program. Okay. On or after July 1st of 2021, were you homeless or were you self-supporting and at risk of being homeless? If this applies to you, say yes. If not, say no. Let's continue. All right. So based off of the answers that we selected, right? We are now considered dependent. Now it's going to insist that we provide parental information. Okay. Right. So now, Paul, we're going to go ahead. Sorry.
Yes. No. There is a button here. Now, what happens when I click this button? I say, no, I don't want to, or I'm unable to, and maybe there's some legitimate concern. Your application, it does not get fully processed. What that means is you kind of go into a limbo. And in fact, you will have to provide documentation, additional documentation to the financial aid offices at these colleges. Let's say it's Broward, FAU, and Tampa, as to why they should actually change your status to independent. But this, checking this second bubble, does not give you the right to be considered an independent. So effectively, you're right, Ms. Shedley, we have to provide our parent information.
Yes, but Paul, that was very, very critical, what you just said, okay? Because a lot of students, especially now, I don't know, you guys might think you're grown. And you're like, I am not involving my parents. But by law, you are not an adult until you're 24, okay? So being unable to provide information about your parents is an easy click right now. But the process, just like Mr. Paul just said, you're gonna have to prove it, okay? So will you provide information about your parents? We're gonna say yes for right now, even if you know, but be sure about that question. All right, let's move on. Whose information are you going to provide? Okay. Since you have been identified as a dependent student, per our examples, you will need to provide information about your parents. So we're going to take out those taxes because we're going to need that information coming up. All right, so these are the sections these are the questions they're going to ask and address. They're going to ask if your parents live together and their marital status, okay? So parent marital status, are they married, never married, unmarried, divorced, or separated? And those are the options.
Or widowed.
Or widowed. Yep. Or widowed. You're right. Okay. So we're going to use the example as married. Okay. We're going to go with married. When did your parents get married? You want to take a few minutes to ask your parents. Call them really quick. Text them. When did you get married?
Month and year we need.
Month and year. Month and year. They're going to say, you should know that. You should know our anniversary. But that's okay. Ask anyway. Just mom, dad, this is important. I need it right now. Okay. All right. So once you get that answer, Paul, do you think that they should put a date just so that they can move on until they get an answer from their parents? Or what do you think? Because we don't want to keep you behind. We don't want to leave you behind.
I think, yes, for this purposes, you don't have to go through the sign and submit tonight. You can, let's get as much of these answers as possible and save this application. So if you have a couple final things to correct, let's do that. I think that's the smartest. Get stuck.
Yeah, let's go with an estimated date. If you don't have it right now, text your parents, call them and find out, and then we'll go back. You'll go back to that page.
Sure. Gotta go back. Too.
Yeah, you can go back. All right. So now, information about your first parent. So you're going to select mom or dad, whoever you created an FSA ID for. Okay. If both parents have an FSA ID, pick the parent. You can pick a parent. Pick a parent because they're both on the taxes. Okay, so you're going to enter their social security number, which is actually located on that 1040 form. If you have the tax form in front of you, you'll see a packet. You're going to have to go through, pull the pages back until you see a 1040 on the top left hand side, and you'll see your parents' information right there on that page. If you are single, if you're in a single parent home, same document, you'll see the social security number there. You may ask for the date of birth, which you should know your parents' date of birth, but just to make sure, just to say you want to make sure what your parents' date of birth is, go ahead and ask them so that we don't get anything rejected, because we're trying to have a smooth and concise application right now. Okay, so go ahead and enter the social security, your parents' last name, the first initial, okay, date of birth, month, day, and year, your parents' email. You're going to re-enter that email. Once you have all this information, you can go ahead and continue to the next page, which is asking for parent 2. If you are in a single parent home and you are on this page, you selected the marital status in error. Okay. So if your parents are not married, you should not see this screen. So you're going to go back to the marital status page and change it to single. Okay. But if your parents are married, you are on the right page right now. All right, Social Security for parent 2, remember, other parent, and you're going to enter the information the same way. Parent state of legal residence. Has your parent lived in Maryland, Florida, let's say Florida, for at least 5 years? If yes, select yes. If no, you're going to select no, and then it's going to ask you for the state of residence and how long they've lived there, okay? Perfect. For the example, we're going to stick to Florida and for 5 years. Yes. So now enter information for your parents' dependents. So now, do you have sisters and brothers that rely on your parent for more than half of their financial support? That's between the times of July 1st, 2022, that's this year, to next year. Are they going to rely on your parents' financial support? If not, you're going to say 0 in here. You're going to enter 0. If you do have a brother or sister that rely on your parents, then you're going to enter that number here. 1, 2, 3.
Right, and important, and it does say it here, but I don't see it very clearly. Do not yourself. This is
see how I skipped it.
Yeah, I know, right? It's tricky. So if there are 3 of you children, you only put 2 here because you're only reporting other dependents outside of yourself. You need to exclude yourself in this question.
Correct. Now the next question, however, are there any other dependents that your parents have? Do they include anyone? For example, you may have a grandparent. You may have an aunt or uncle or a cousin that now live with your parents, currently receive more than half of their support from your parent, and will continue to receive more than half of financial support from your parents. If this is yes, you're going to enter the number of dependents that apply, or if not, you're going to put 0. Okay. Let's go ahead and continue. Any questions? Again, there are no wrong answers, wrong questions, or crazy questions. There's no way that you would know how to do this if this is your first time. So please use us. Use the chat, use the question and answer, ask anything you want. right now.
Absolutely.
Okay. How many are going to college, including yourself? So here is a breakdown based off of what you entered, right, Paul?
Yep.
One
So this
for
is the
yourself.
household.
Mhm.
This is the house that we have. It's 5 because we're back here. So I don't like this application because it's a little confusing. But now we're back in the.
It is.
We're back in the household. There's 5 of us, 2 parents and my 2 siblings. How many of the dependents only? Because God bless, we have kids whose parents are back in college or getting another degree. But this is limited to the dependents. How many will be in college next year? And it's an important question because it really has an impact on the financial aid you're eligible for. So if it ends up being all 3 of you, for next year, we want to put 3. Now, if your sibling's a senior is going to graduate from college this May,
Right.
then in fact, next year it's just going to be you. So that's 1. So this is a question about next year, how many of the kids are going to be in college? And in this case, we're only going to have me, the student, Helen, be in college.
Well, we want to say next year, next school year.
Correct. Excuse me. Next school year.
Starting in this year, just so you guys are clear. This next year really starts this year in July.
July,
okay?
Technically. Yes. Next academic year.
Yes.
Okay.
But we appreciate the visuals, right, FAFSA? Thank you, FAFSA, for the visuals. But it's still confusing. So it's okay. If you have questions, it's okay. If you're confused, it's okay. We're going to take you through it. We're at page 5, section 5, 2 more sections to go. Paul, you are awesome. Let's go.
I think you're awesome. So
no, I think you're awesome. I think everybody here is awesome. All right, let's get through this. All right, so here we are at the parent information, parent tax filing status. Okay, if you have a tax return in front of you, your parents have already completed it. So it's complete. If they have not, there's an option, you see? They make it easy. Will you file? Or are they not planning to file at all? So you have 3 options, either completed, not completed, or will complete, okay? So you select which is best for you. Next question is, what type of income tax did your parents file for 2020? Generally the tax form that you will find is the IRS Form 1040, okay? If you file a tax return in Puerto Rico, then you would select that tax form. Okay, but generally it's the 1040, IRS Form 1040. All right, next question is, for 2020, what is your tax filing status according to their tax return? Okay, here is why it's so important to have the taxes in front of you. If you can also click on that question mark.
Look up here.
And as you can see, they give you an example. This is what it looks like, filing status, okay? I've had it where, Paul, have you ever had it where a student says, no, my parents are married. And then you go to the tax and it says single, or vice versa.
Oh yeah, it can happen.
Or your parents are married, but the taxes say head of household. Okay, so look at, we're not saying what's right, what's wrong, what's in between. Go by the taxes. What's in the tax? What's on that tax form? Single, married, filed jointly, married, filed separate, or qualifying widower, or you don't know. So, Paul, do you know what happens if you select don't know?
You're going to go on the path similar to will file, which means that you have to answer the questions each individually.
Right.
About income and these other things, which we're going to go through anyway. But
we're going to go through it anyway. So don't be afraid of any answer. Okay.
Married filing jointly.
Yes, let's go with married filed jointly. Now, here's the thing, guys. We need you to stay with us here. Okay. Not to get you this is not to bring any fear, but we're going to leave the FAFSA. Well, you're going to leave the FAFSA site and proceed to the IRS site. This is where it's actually called the IRS Data Retrieval Tool. The best thing since sliced bread. Okay? I have a brace advisor. We have some brace advisors in the building behind the scenes, okay? We celebrate when this works. So when you proceed to the IRS, it's going to do? It's going to take you to the IRS site. It's going to ask you to enter information, really basic information from the tax form. Okay? So it's going to ask you, right, Paul?
Yep.
And we're slow. Oh, we're slowing down because it is very important for you to be accurate in this section. So when you click on proceed to the IRS site, it's going to say this is a U.S. government system. This U.S. government system is for authorized use only. That's you. So don't be scared of it. That's fine. We are accessing your information. You're going to click OK. All right. Hopefully I'm with you. Next, it's going to ask you for your first name, last name, social. It's going to populate. Make sure it's accurate. Okay. Make sure it's accurate. This is for the parent that you're selecting. Right? Paul, it's based off of the parent. Although we entered both parents, we need the parent that you're entering with the FSA ID. Right?
That is correct.
Okay. You're going to enter that FSA ID. It's going to take you to that page. It asks verify first name, last name, social. Make sure that social is correct. Date of birth. Make sure the date of birth is correct. Filing status. It's going to ask you for this filing status again. We need to make sure it's accurate and it reflects what's on the taxes. Okay, so we're going to select married, filed jointly. Okay, then it's going to ask you for your street address. That street address. Okay, it has to be identical from capitalization, from abbreviation, from. It doesn't matter if you think your street is Court and your taxes says Ave.
Paul, you want to take over? But I think we lost Shedley.
I thought it might have been me. Yes. So we're talking about the data retrieval. So I apologize. We have a little bit of technical difficulty, which we'll get past. But yes, so I guess the question now is, we've given a couple minutes. Has anyone had success with the data retrieval tool? Do we get anybody in chat that can answer that question?
Let's see if you had success with the data retrieval tool and you matched. Please let us know. We want to celebrate you. This is the time to celebrate.
Anybody got matched with the data retrieval tool?
Oh, it looks like we got a couple here. Yes, this is excellent. We love this. We love, like Shedley was saying, we love when people get matched because it really does make the application a little bit faster, and then it's ready for you for next school year. Remember that every single year that you are in college, yes, I had success. I love seeing this. But every year that you are in college, you must fill out the FAFSA. And that's why it's so important to remember those passwords, your FSA ID, because you're going to need it every single year. Parents, same thing. Don't think because you have a child in 6th grade and one that's in college that you're going to have to do a FSA ID again. You will have the same one for all of your students, for all of your kids. They'll have their own, but parents, you will have the same one. So again, if you have a senior now, but you know that in 6th grade, you have one coming up, it's going to be the same FSA ID. So we really want to make sure that you recognize that, know that, keep it in a safe place. And also, one of the things that I want to share with you guys that just a little tidbit of information is that we just received breaking news this past from last year that according to the National College Attainment Network, the graduating high school class of 2021 left. Are you ready for this, Paul? Because you're gonna go bananas.
Don't tell me. Okay, let me know. What is it?
$3.75 billion.
Oh my goodness.
$billion in federal student aid on the table. Simply why? Because they did not apply. Class of 2022, we are not going to let this happen. So even if you're here and you know that one of your friends haven't filled out the FAFSA and they're going to go to college, let them know to watch this recording and fill it out. It may just change their whole life trajectory.
100%. Yes.
Right. So, Paul and Shedley, are we back?
Oh, man. It's like it's preventing me from, no, this is not going to happen. I'm telling you, I just got kicked off and now I'm back. Thank you, Carol, for taking over. You guys are the best. All right, let's go. How are we doing? Let's go straight to the question.
We got some people who were able to do the data retrieval tool successfully. Celebrate that. We celebrate that because this is going to shortcut that process. But of course, we're going to go through those screens in case you want to. We're going to celebrate those who couldn't do it either because I know that we're going to walk through exactly what you need to do. So let's get through that right now.
Let's go. Let's go. Congratulations. You are one step closer to knowing and receiving your free money. Okay, here we go. Section 5, parent IRS info. Okay, so Paul, this is where it gets a little bit, we have to do you don't have to be a tax expert. The taxes actually tell you line by line what you need. The FAFSA tells you where to look. So when you see this form, you see this is the example. You're going to scroll down or look down all the way to number 11 and see the adjusted gross income. Okay, whatever that number is, we're going to enter it right here. How much are you putting? 35,000? What about 35 million?
All right, we'll put 65,000.
All right.
Shedley's living the good life. Shedley, I just want to pause for a second, Shedley and Paul, because there has been some chat about parents being remarried, right? And what exactly does that mean? And I know that there is, a little bit of controversy when it comes to that. And we know that we have some blended families happening. Do we want to just really quickly touch base on what happens if the parent is remarried, and now they're filing with that married person who's their stepdad or something like that?
Really important. So let's walk through this really quickly. So when you decide, back on the parent demographics, right? Who your custodial parent is, that's the first question. So that is the parent. If you are coming from a divorced or separated or parents who don't live together situation, it's the parent with which you've lived the most the last 365 days or year prior to filling this application today. So it's not based off of an academic year or a tax year. It's like, let's look 365 days past this. So since about March 16th, 2021, who have I lived with the most? That is the parent who you should be reporting on the FAFSA, and this is the information we should be putting. Now, let's say that parent, your mom has remarried, and the new spouse is not adopted you. That, in the eyes of federal aid, doesn't matter. You need to, and she's remarried and reporting her taxes now with her new husband, you need to report both quote unquote parent's income, even though he's not your parent, because it's considered a two-parent household. So I'm glad you brought up that clarification, because if you're living with one of your parents and that parent has remarried legally and files taxes together, you need to fill this out completely for both of those individuals, your custodial parent, your birth parent, and the other parent, the other adult you're living with, which is, like I said, effectively your step parent, but maybe not legally.
Right. And we want to say congratulations to the the new marriage. However, we definitely need stepdad's information. But Paul, what if both parents really, it's half. Like what if it's 50-50? Like a legit court-ordered 50-50?
Well, in that case, the rules are it's the parent that provides the most financial support for the student. So, and that is the tiebreaker. So who supports most financially? So, you know, that can be a little tricky too, because sometimes it's hard to know who that is. But
right.
You know, that's something that, you know, you'd have to talk to your parents about or understand. But that is the rules, and then we have to follow the rules, right? Because this is a federal application, and it's something that we need to do our best to answer fully and honestly in order to qualify for the state.
Perfect. Okay.
All right.
Let us
so now
continue.
income. Yes.
Okay. So we said that the adjusted gross income was 65,000. Is that right? Right, Paul? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Hey, Paul.
I think now Paul is frozen.
Wow. Okay. Well, we said that 65,000 was the income, adjusted gross income, right? So here's where it gets a little complicated, right, Carol?
Absolutely. You just never know.
Which is okay. Which is okay. Oops. Okay, that's okay. You know what? Just because we lost the screen, we know that in this virtual space, this happens, and it's okay. So we need you to stay aboard with us, okay? So the adjusted gross income, right? So if you're on the screen and you're a single parent, you're gonna enter your information here. If you are a married couple, we're going to separate. Let's just say one parent works and one does not. So the first block on your page, you're going to enter that 65,000. And if mom or dad doesn't, the other parent doesn't work, we're going to go ahead and put 0 for the other question. Okay. So don't be afraid about this question. It's asking you, what the application is asking you is to split it. Okay, which is fine. And if you are not completely sure, you can revert to that packet. The tax packet should have a W-2 in there. Okay, or it might be in the folder that comes with all the taxes, a W-2 in there. So that's another way to get the information about how much your parent 2 makes. So generally it's asking, how much does parent 1 make? How much does parent 2 make? If one of the other parents does not make any income, it's okay. You're gonna put 0, okay? All right, so let's go ahead. Let me see if I can share my screen.
Yeah, you have access to share just in case until Mr. Paul comes back.
Okay, all right, let's do this. Okay, so we're going to share the screen. Any questions? Remember, we are using the chat to ask questions. Okay, let me get to that page. Bear with us. Okay, sharing.
And yeah, well, and while Shedley is also checking that out, I want to just remind you guys that there is free step-by-step FAFSA guidance assistance on the Broward Bridge to Life FAFSA form. So if you go to browardbridgetolife.com, which is our local access network, they have secured a grant with 211 to get you any free, one-on-one if you're still having problems. And I had put the number before in the chat, but I will put it again. It's 954-890-1225, and they make appointments Tuesdays 3 to 8, Wednesdays 3 to 8:30, Thursdays 3 to 8:30, Fridays 3 to 8, and Saturdays 9 to 1. So again, if there's any problems and you feel like, oh my God, I'm still not there, please know that there is help. There are tons of resources. Do not feel like you are in this alone. So please make sure that, you feel free to call 211 for all of your needs. And Shedley, I think you are officially sharing, so I'm going to go ahead and let you talk now.
Perfect. And that 211 resource is everything right now. Put it in your phone, lock it in. If you ever need help, 211. All right, so back to the FAFSA form. Here is where we're past, okay? You're past this point. You click continue. Look at this. Okay. Enter the amount of your parents' income tax. This is where you're going to do a little bit of, calculation here. This is the total amount of that the IRS on the 1040 form, that it includes the taxes paid, income taxes, okay? You're going to go to line 22 minus line 2 on schedule 2. So now this could be a little complicated. If you don't have a line 2 on schedule 2, it's okay. If there's nothing there, it's a 0. So go ahead and put 0, okay? And remember, there's always a way to correct this form. Always. You can always make corrections. Always. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and continue. Now it's going to ask questions for tax filers only. Okay, so if this applies to you, if this makes sense, go ahead and reread the question because it may be confusing. But if this is gibberish to you, this doesn't apply to you, I don't get combat pay, it's 0. Okay, put the 0 in there. There's already a 0 in there. You can go ahead and skip over it. Student college grant. So if you're receiving, this is for the parent. Remember, this is for the parent. This is not any scholarships received. This is for the parents. Any student college grant, scholarship aid reported, please enter it here. Most of the time, it's going to be 0 here. Any education credits, any untaxed portion of the IRS that you're receiving distribution or pension, this may apply to you. A lot of parents received the distribution from their IRA this year because of the pandemic. It's okay. We're going to enter it here. Another note for this is if the income is showing higher than normal because you received the distribution, that's okay too. Once you submit, there's always a way for you to advocate for yourself after the application has reached the school and you contact financial aid and explain. Okay, never leave numbers in the air to be assessed for the school to come up with their own conclusion. No, you self-advocate for yourself and explain the situation. Okay, all right, so at this point, you've gone through these questions. Most of you are going to have all 0s. Let's continue. All right, additional financial information. Okay, are you receiving child support? Okay. Child support, your parents paid? Are you paying child support? Is your parents paying child support based off of a divorce or a separation or as a result of a legal requirement? If so, you're going to say yes here. Most of you will have the dollar amount for the month. I need you to multiply it by 12, okay? Because it's for the year of 2020. You're going to add that, enter it in the first field. The second field is the cooperative education program. If this is familiar to you, you're going to enter that number here for the year. If not, it's going to be 0. All right. Taxable earnings, any need-based employment program or federal work study that you've earned in 2020. Remember, parent information. If yes, put it in this field. If not, skip it. We're done with this. It's not even applicable to us. So 0. All right, we're moving right along. Now, untaxed income. untaxed income. If you are receiving child support, okay, for all of the children, you're going to enter it here for the year. Not paying, but receiving. You're going to enter that here, multiply it by 12 for the year. This is for 2020. Any housing, food, living allowance, okay? Tax deferred pensions, veteran non-education benefits, disability, okay? Death pension, dependency income, all of this is to be entered here for the year of 2020. Not this year, not 2021, 2020. Okay, any other untaxed income that are not reported. If this doesn't apply to you, it's going to be zero. And that's okay. Okay. All right. So parent assets. Now it's asking your current balance as far as cash, checking, savings account, whatever you have in there, you're going to enter it in this field. Any net worth as far as investments. This is the field for that, including real estate, not your home, however, you're going to enter that here. Okay, last question. What is the net worth of your parents' business? This is still, you know, we're just at the, I mean, I don't even know what the status we are right now, but we're still in a pandemic kind of. This is 2020. That's when the height of the pandemic was out. This is the height of the pandemic. So a lot of businesses showed a negative, okay? So you're going to enter zero here, all right? But if you do have a net worth exceeding, this is for businesses that are 100 employees or more, okay? This is not if you have employees, 100 employees or less. This is for 100 or more employees that have a net worth. You're going to enter that here. If this doesn't apply to you, skip it, okay? We're almost here. This is almost the last page, guys. We are here, almost done. Excited. Is Paul back with us? All right, we're gonna keep going.
Not yet. So we're not yet.
Okay,
I'm here
cool.
with you though. Don't worry.
All right, you're here. We have you here. We have the Brace team behind us. We have everybody here. Okay, so keep the questions coming. This question is based off of the student. Okay, this is you, the student. If you filed taxes or you plan on filing taxes, okay, this is what you're going to select here. If you did not, you're going to say will not file, okay? But if you did, you're going to say already completed, IRS tax form 1040, married, single. You're going to answer those questions appropriately, okay? Let's go ahead and continue. Same thing, same deal, the same process that we did with your parent, okay? If you filed a tax return and you are single, you also can retrieve your data from the IRS. So you're going to go through that same process, match your address to what's on the taxes, extract that information from the IRS, and keep it going. Keep going, okay? Same thing. Data retrieval tool. If you did not file taxes, you're going to say no thanks. Keep going. Okay? If you're ahead of me, no problem. If you're behind, that's okay too. Let us know in the chat whatever questions you have. We're almost done. Okay. Most students will say no, that you didn't file taxes. Some of you that are married, of course, they're going to ask you for your parent's spouse and your spouse information, but we're going to skip over that. All right. Income from work. Whew. Any student out here making 50,000? If you're making 50,000, I don't know. We're going to have to talk about this. Okay. Put your name in the chat for us. All right. So income information, any income that you've earned, wages, salaries, tips, you're going to enter that here. If it's zero and you did not work in 2020, be mindful of the 2020, not 2021, not this year, 2020. If it's a zero, go ahead and put zero. And we're going to skip the part with the spouse because of what we rejected based off of the example. It should not populate to this question. Okay. Any other information that's needed as far as taxes, most likely this is going to be zero. If you did not file, you will not see this question.
We have Paul back in the building.
Paul, I miss you, Paul.
You know what?
Don't even do it. Don't. Just,
you know what? We are determined to do our FAFSA, so we're getting it done. I hear you.
Yep. We're just gonna keep on trucking.
I got my live application, so I can share that again if we want to do that. But you're doing a great job, so hey.
Okay, up to you. But we can. We're almost done. We're almost done.
Keep going with the slides. I like this.
Let's go. Okay, so child support that you received, if you received, or well, actually that you paid. If you paid any child support, what are the likelihood of a student paying child support? We're gonna skip over this. This is the marital status one, okay? All right, continue. Any student assets is gonna ask you about your cash, savings, checking account. Go ahead and include that. If you have any assets that exceed a certain amount, which is $2,200, that's only based off of the income that I included, okay? If you put 0, you won't see this question, okay? Cash, savings, checking account, enter that there. Any net worth, any investment. Paul, you're not going to believe it, but I've had students that had to include this. Okay.
Yeah.
What about this? Yes, I'm telling you.
That's I've had Robinhood. That's the Robinhood right there.
Had their parent passed away, and the investments were passed on to the student. So these questions come from real life situations. Okay. So don't be afraid to answer these questions, but if it doesn't apply to you, it's a 0. Okay, let's go. All right, so now, just so you know, everything is saved. Just so you know, again, if the correction is needed, you can always make a correction, okay? So now, are you a preparer? Are you a paid preparer? So that's gonna be yes or no. It's rare, so we're gonna go with no. All right, so now you're gonna get the summary. You're gonna get a summary of what you entered. Do browse through it. Well, not browse. Go through all the questions. Make sure everything is correct. Okay. If you have any questions, you want to make sure you ask. But this is the summary based off of what you entered on the application. Anything about this, Paul?
Yeah, no, this is where you can go back and make those corrections that you might need to do. So, you know, take your time, look here. If there's something you need to correct, all those links are live. They will take you back to that part of the application so you can make a change. It's no big deal.
I love that they did this.
Yeah.
You know, this was not always the case.
I know.
We had to wait until the report came to our house to make a correction. Now you can actually click on the link and make the correction right there. Life is easy for you guys. Come on, let's get this application. And as a matter of fact, if you are done with this application, let us know. Okay, if you're at this part, let us know. If you have a friend that hasn't done the FAFSA, let them know that this recording is going to be available. Go through your summary, go through your summary, tell a friend. This was easy. You had help, and after this, you will continue to get help. All right, going through the questions, everything looks good. And then you're gonna read before proceeding and sign and submit. The moment of truth is right here. You're gonna sign, submit. It's going to ask you to enter your parent's FSA ID, which is your electronic signature. We're going to need this until you graduate, guys. Okay, we're going to need this until you graduate. Enter it. Click on the unsigned portion side of the page. Provide parent signature. You're going to click on that. Moment of truth, Paul. Moment of truth.
Yes, it is time to celebrate.
Time to celebrate, sign, submit. Make sure you select the right parent that has the right FSA ID, whether it's parent 1 or parent 2. If it doesn't go through, you may have chosen the wrong parent, okay? Which is okay. All you have to do is go back and verify which parent you entered. If you're still with us, go ahead and scroll down, click on the box, agree to the terms, verify that you are who you are, and understand that this FSA ID is an electronic signature signing that you are agreeing to these terms. Continue, and that is it. Congratulations. You have officially submitted your FAFSA, okay? On that congratulations page. I love it. This is what we use as a tool to further educate you, okay? Paul, what's on this page? And then we're going to call it a night.
Yeah, well, one important number is that expected family contribution.
Amen.
So you'll have an idea of what colleges will be receiving that they would, you know, it's kind of a starting point, right? I mean, of like kind of what the family is expected to pay. But importantly, if you scroll down, you're going to see the federal aid you're eligible for. What is the size of the Pell Grant you might be getting? What is the size of, you know, of other grants you're eligible for from the federal government? What are your possibilities for borrowing if you need to do that? And, you know, we all of us on our team have been work study babies. If you are eligible for work study and what that amount could be that you can earn during college to help you pay for college. So that confirmation page has a wealth of information because it gives you the starting point to see all this free money that you are eligible for and that you will get through your financial aid office at the different universities you're accepted to.
Exactly. So Carol, what do you think? What does it say? What's the chat saying? What is everybody saying?
Everybody's doing good right now. I mean, you know, we still have a little bit of some people who haven't finished up, so we're just waiting up. Some people are saying, you know, mine is not working. Again, remember that if yours is not working, we have different supports for you. So we will put something in the chat now that says, I did not complete my FAFSA. There's a little survey button that one of the staff will put in and says, I still need one-on-one help. Also remember that the 211 counselors are there. So if you haven't seen the chat, you can scroll up and we'll put it again. Doesn't matter. 211 help for you guys. But for the most part, I mean, you guys are doing a good job. It looks like we got a lot of people accomplished here tonight. We have a lot of amazing questions.
Awesome. And Paul and Carol, what I want everybody to know, if you are a parent on the line and you have another student, some parents have twins, some of them have 2-3 kids that are graduating this year. Guess what? Right here, all you have to do is transfer that FAFSA information so that your other students that are completing the FAFSA, just transfer that information in. Okay? So don't be afraid to do that. You don't have to do the whole thing over again. Click on transfer FAFSA information and that will populate for your other children.
Yep.
That's it.
Very helpful.
That's it. That's it. The party is over. Actually, the party is just getting started. So you, congratulations from completing the FAFSA. It's been a pleasure. Right, Paul? It's been a pleasure.
I love this. This has been great. I apologize. I popped out. We both popped out for a while.
Yeah. Microsoft Teams, airwaves.
Right?
It's all good. It's all good. So I'm Shedley Cassius from the Scholarship Plug. It has been a pleasure. Congratulations. Keep on applying. Keep on looking for those scholarship dollars. This is something that no one can take away from you. Your education is something that no one can ever take away from you, and you are in this taking the steps in the right direction, and we're here to support you, and we're happy to have been shared this moment with you. So Carol?
We can't thank you guys enough. I mean, seriously, you guys are the best of the best here. We have the Scholarship Plug and College Money Methods, and these are amazing people. If you haven't gone to their website, I suggest that you put them out. We're going to put them out on the chat as well. Remember that this is not the end all be all, right? Because if you still need scholarships, right? If maybe the FAFSA doesn't cover everything, go and get scholarships every single day. Broward students, we are adding scholarships to your Naviance account, local scholarships. There's people all the time asking us, you know, can you extend the scholarship because there's not enough people that are applying for it. So please, if you haven't yet, continue to apply for scholarships because we want you all to go to college for free. We want college to pay you, and we know it can happen because there's many students who have, you know, emailed us back and said, guess what? college is paying me to go there because I got scholarships and I got my Bright Futures and I got my financial aid. So please, there are different ways, like we talked about earlier, to earn financial aid. Again, I mean, money is out there. Yeah.
You want to share the hashtags, the follow for a purpose? We have to follow for a purpose. Shout out everyone's social media.
Yes, we're going to go ahead. We're going to have one of our team put everybody on there because the Scholarship Plug has tons of scholarships that they're giving every day. We have our Brace Cadets who are our social media and peer influencers putting stuff. Paul is on our FAFSA page doing some videos along with our different podcasts that we have here on Wednesdays. All next month is going to be Paul talking about all that is college and reading your financial aid award letters. So please continue to follow us for a purpose. We have so much information and we have passion, and we're here because we love you all. We want everybody to be life ready and successful for after high school, right? We want all of you guys to get a career, and there's different ways of that happening, right? Whether it's college, whether it's employment, whether it's the military, whether it's exploring a gap year. And we have subjects on our Wednesdays podcast that talks about all of that. So please tune in, go back if you don't know. And we loved having you here. We've answered almost 200 questions tonight. So we know that there is a need. And again, if you didn't get your questions answered today, you have the resources to to get them answered. And all of our information is also on the website. So again, please, 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 you're not in this alone. Ask for help. I actually talked in a meeting today and said there is a special power and a special person when they ask for help. So many people think, oh, I got it, or I don't want to burden somebody. But honestly, it's a sign of strength to ask for help when you need it, right? Because there are people that really want to help you, and we're all here to do that for you. So with that said, how are we doing, Paul and Shedley? Is it good night?
Yeah, I think we did good. So we did more than good. We did great.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Shot.
So, all right. Well, we are, yeah. Oh, go ahead, Shedley. You have something to say?
No, I was saying, shout out to everybody answering all the questions. 200 questions? What? Mm-hmm. I hope we have 200 FAFSA being done right now. Okay.
And remember, if you completed your FAFSA, turn it in to B2L to get your $10 gift card. Hello. All of that is there for you.
Where else are you going to get paid to do a free application? Really?
Exactly.
Really? Come on.
It's all on you guys now. All right. So have a wonderful spring break, everybody. Enjoy. Take some time to self-care. And remember, we're back right after every single Wednesday. We have a whole lineup in April. So every single Wednesday, 6 to 7 p.m., we got the College and Career Corner podcast. Have a wonderful night. Thank you, all of the volunteers in the back and all of our experts. And thank you guys for joining us on this Wednesday. And remember, free money is out there for you guys. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.